A lot of people are claiming that digital products are dead. That's because they're trying to start digital product businesses following strategies that worked 2 or 3 years ago, and the reality is the landscape has changed a ton since then. New digital product sellers are still trying to upload dozens of random printables hoping something sells, or creating products without checking first to see if anyone even wants them, or selling things that AI tools can now generate for free within a matter of seconds. And because the barrier to entry has gotten so low, marketplaces are more competitive now than ever. So it is true in one sense, digital products are dead if you're trying to sell the wrong ones or you don't know the new way of positioning them to still be marketable in an AI world. In this video, I'm breaking down what's actually working for digital products right now, what strategies have become outdated, and the smarter way to build a digital products business if you want to actually start making sales today. Now, before we jump in, if you're someone who knows you want to sell digital products, but you're just starting out and you could use a hand and some guidance along the way, I've got a free digital product starter guide linked in the description box below. It's a completely free guide that you can download that'll give you all the need to know information for starting and growing your profitable digital products business, including tools that you can use to create your digital products, where to sell digital products, the types of digital products you can create and sell, information about sizing and resolution, all the techie things that you'll need to know broken down in a simple and easy to understand way. So if you feel like that could be a help to you, definitely grab that to give you a shortcut as you're growing your digital products business. All right, step number 1 is to choose the right product type. Years ago, you may have been able to sell things like generic printables, basic planners, and low value templates that weren't really specific to any certain niche. They were just sort of broad and applicable across the board, and you could sell them for a really low ticket price. But what's working better now are higher value niche specific products. We're talking niche or topic specific templates or tools that solve a specific problem for a specific person, or courses or programs that include a live implementation or support component. So for instance, instead of selling a $3 printable calendar that's not specific to any certain niche or topic, you could sell a fitness bundle that includes templates and tools specifically themed around fitness. You could do something similar with a lot of different niches. It doesn't have to be fitness. It could be real estate or training your dog or homeschooling or business. But long gone are the days of just being able to whip up a quick little template or planner and sell it on Etsy for a few bucks. Step number 2 for being successful with digital products that is non-negotiable is to communicate the specific outcome. At the end of the day, people don't buy a product for the features of the product, they buy a result. For instance, someone's first thought isn't, I want an online course with 50 lessons that last 10 minutes each. They're thinking, I want to lose 20 pounds, or I want to train my dog not to jump on people when they walk in the door, or I want to get my first 100 sales. They want a product that can deliver the outcome they're looking for. So your product's conversion rate, or how often it actually makes a sale, largely depends on your ability to clearly communicate what the promised result or outcome is. If you're not sure what it is for your product, then you can think through these few questions. What is the transformation that your product is going to take your customer on from starting point to ending point? What's their before and after? What will your customer be able to do after using this product? And what measurable result will they get? It's not enough to have a vague idea of something that might happen. It needs to be something specific and measurable that feels tangible and concrete to them. So for instance, if you're selling Canva templates, instead of selling a generic Canva social media template bundle, offer 30 Instagram post templates for personal trainers to book their first 10 clients. You can see the difference in how hyper-specific and outcome-driven that messaging is. And moving on to step number 3, which is also a non-negotiable, and this is to rely on both internal and external traffic. Your products aren't going to sell if you're not getting consistent traffic to view them, discover them, and purchase them, right? So you can get traffic both from internal sources and external sources. And as a beginner, especially, you want to rely on both and not skip either or. Internal traffic is going to come from building on a platform that already has a built-in audience on that platform. Some platforms that have a built-in audience for digital products would be places like Etsy or Creative Market. People may not know about your shop or your business, but they're going onto a platform like Etsy or Creative Market to search for something they need. And that's how you're going to get discovered faster, because people are already searching the platform for what you have to offer. And then also within the internal traffic category is SEO. That stands for search engine optimization. And this is how you're being strategic to use highly searched keyword phrases when you're creating your product listings in certain sections like the title, the tags, the description. This helps the platform's algorithm to scan these sections of your listing and to identify, number one, if your listing is a match for that specific shopper, and number two, if it is a match, how high it should be ranked in the search results. Using smart SEO is another way to increase the amount of internal traffic that's being directed toward your shop straight from the platform. Now, as great as those internal strategies are, we can't skip the importance of driving traffic from external sources as well. My two favorite ways to do this is with social media marketing and email marketing. Now, with social media marketing, you don't have to be everywhere at once. I'd recommend you just pick one social media platform to start with and work on mastering, both posting your own content and collaborating with other business owners or influencers to more quickly get the word spread about your business. And secondly, email marketing is one that a lot of people skip, and I skipped when I first started my business, and I wish I had started from day one because it is absolutely, without a doubt, the most powerful digital marketing strategy in my business today. So if you're building an online business, regardless of what types of products you plan to sell, email marketing is something you cannot skip. And one of the tools I've been really impressed with lately is the sponsor of this portion of today's video, OmniSend. OmniSend is an email and SMS marketing platform trusted by over 150,000 businesses, and it's rated 4.7 stars, which tells you people are actually getting results with it. In fact, on average, users see about a $79 ROI or return on investment for every $1 spent, which is pretty incredible. One of the things I love most is how easy it is to use. You can grow your email list, set up pre-built automation workflows like welcome emails, cart abandonment reminders, and order confirmations, and start sending emails without building anything from scratch. They also have a huge library of beautiful email templates you can use for things like announcing a sale, promoting products, sending discount codes, or just welcoming new subscribers. Then you'll be able to view a full sales report so you know exactly how your emails and automations are performing. They do have a free plan, which is great if you're just getting started, but their paid plans unlock even more features like removing the OmniSend logo and adding your own branding so all of your emails look completely professional. They also offer 24/7 support and migration help, so if you've already started on another platform, their amazing team handles the migration for free in just 5 days, so you don't have to lose time or data. If you want to try it out, check my link in the description below, and you can get 30% off your first 3 months with the coupon code KATE. I'm so excited to be able to partner with OmniSend and can't wait to hear how you like it. All right, let's move right along to step number 4, which is arguably the most important in this entire video, and this is to consider what you can build into your offer that can't be provided by AI. In a world where people can get answers from AI in a matter of minutes for free, we have to start building elements into our offers that can't be replaced by or provided by AI. What can we offer that AI tools can't give our potential customers? Some examples of these elements might be offering human feedback or reviews, a live community forum with other people, some form of accountability, personalization or customization, live experiences like live coaching sessions, workshops, challenges, or implementation help. This by no means is an exhaustive list, and you can get creative with this, but the idea here is to make sure you're offering something that won't position your product as a competitor with AI, but will be clearly seen by your potential customer as more helpful and more useful than just going on to use an AI tool for what they need. Now, if you're someone who's wanting to sell digital products, I've got one more free gift for you, and this is what I honestly wish I had had when I first started selling digital products. It's my free deep dive digital product powerhouse masterclass, where I go deep into the 4 steps that you'll need to take to start and grow your profitable digital products business, the 4 pillars that I built my business on that you absolutely cannot skip if you're wanting to make consistent income selling digital products. So again, I've got that linked in the description box below. You can hop over and watch that on demand completely for free when you're done here watching this video. And moving on to step number 5, which is to build an entire ecosystem around one product focus. So what I mean by this is, instead of offering 100 random different products that aren't related at all, focus on either one product type or one niche audience. So an example of product type could be you're gonna sell templates for real estate agents, or you're gonna sell kid birthday party invitations. These are specific types of products. Or you could go the second route of niching down on target audience. So maybe there's several different types of products, but they all appeal to the same type of person. So you could have a digital product shop that offers different types of products for homeschool moms, or for teachers, or for new parents. Either way, getting specific and niching down and having that one focus is going to get you momentum quicker than trying to offer a lot of different things for a lot of different types of people. You want to be seen as the expert. You want to be positioned as the specialist because that immediately instills trust in people who are looking at your shop and wondering if what you're creating and your products are really quality. And then once you've identified your one product focus, you're not just going to offer the same type of product over and over again. You're going to build lots of different types of products that are offered at varying price points and tiers to appeal to a wider mass of people. So let me give you an example. Let's say your niche is fitness coaching. So you want to offer digital products for fitness coaches and you are focused in on that one target audience. At your lowest tier, you could offer some freebies or lead magnets around that same topic or theme to start to get people to join your email list. Then one tier up from that, you could have some low ticket printable products or templates that fitness coaches could use. You could then bundle those individual products together to sell the next tier, which is a little bit higher priced, and these are sets or bundles of your products. And then you could have a tier even above that where you're offering a higher priced course or program or membership centered on fitness coaching and bonus points if you've got an element of live implementation or accountability built into that program. A fun pro tip here, something you can do if you offer a course or a program like this, is to also mention affiliate products. So within your course or program, you can mention tools or software or products that are not your own. They're other people's products or tools that you're promoting, but you've signed up as an affiliate for that, meaning that if one of your students signs up or purchases one of those, you get a commission for it. It's just an additional revenue stream that you can add on top of selling your own products. So overall, here's the list of things that used to maybe work, but I would not do anymore if I'm trying to sell digital products this year. I would not try to create and sell hundreds of products that aren't related in any way and have a general store feel. I would not try to sell generic or vague low ticket printables that don't solve a specific problem for a specific person. I definitely would not ignore external marketing like social media or email marketing, and I would not communicate only the features of the product and leave out messaging that's centered around the outcome or the result of the product. So friend, I hope that was helpful for you. Remember to click the links in the description box below to hop over and watch my Digital Product Powerhouse Masterclass and to grab your free digital product starter guide. Happy selling.